Thank you for that intro, Garrett. That was it's a hype machine here. I like it. First of all, I just want to say hello, everybody. I'm Katie Ullman. I'm the Vice President of Communications here at Attentive. So I want to thank you all for being here for the past day and a half. It's been just amazing to see everyone together for the first time in a long time for a lot of us. And also, you know, what I love most about our events is watching all of you get a chance to spend time with each other and talk to each other and just share your experiences. So with that, we are excited to be here as the closing panel for the conference today. And I want to kick it off over and we'll do some intros and then dive into some questions.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. I'm the VP of Revenue at Lively, and I essentially oversee the full marketing funnel. Lively is a D2C brand that is an intimates brand created 6 years ago. And we founded this concept of lingerie, which is essentially a blend between lingerie and athleisure.
I'm Liesl Walsh. I come from Boston proper. We are an old brand, 30 years old, moving quickly into the digital future. We started from catalog, and our customer is, our average customer is 45 years old. So she's an avid shopper and loves to dress up and loves SMS.
Hi guys, I'm KJ Miller. I am the CEO and co-founder of Minted Cosmetics. Minted is short for pigmented, and we create everyday beauty products for every hue.
Awesome, well, great. Well, what we really want to talk about today is how to weave conversational commerce into the customer relationships, and with a big focus on personalization, two-way conversations, and loyalty. So KJ, I'm going to start with you first.
Yeah.
So the customer life cycle starts with discovery, and SMS enables that for a lot of customers. Being a very personal channel, consumers like to opt in for an elevated experience. So how do you entice your consumers to engage with the brand and either SMS or other marketing programs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, you know, what we have found is, obviously we do all the normal things, the exit intent, the pop-ups, whatever, but we have found that if you can catch her at the moment where she's looking to be educated, then like she's much more likely to want to sign up because she's already looking for information. So we do complexion consults for free. It's one of the things we do where, you know, you can book with one of our reps, 20 minutes, we're gonna let you know your shade, we're gonna let you know all the products that should go along with it. So if she's already on the complexion page, like that's the moment where we're trying to grab her because she's already trying to figure something out. And so we've seen if we can get her in that moment where she's doing the education, looking for the information, she's much more likely to wanna sign up. And so actually we're testing now on our complexion PDPs, I forget what Attentive calls it, the live chat.
Yeah.
Live SMS. And we're starting that test on Monday because, you know, we've already seen with our customer service reps, she does want to chat with them at that moment. So now we're like, well, if she wants to chat with them, maybe she wants to chat with our concierge folks, right? So that's something we're testing. But again, if we can get her in that education moment, we've seen it work really well.
Yeah. And Liesl, you were saying that your consumer is a 45-year-old woman but loves SMS. So how else are you keeping them engaged?
I think in general, we just find that in the conversational set, the more we can ask her questions and get her to a more specific part of the site that she's interested in, it helps because our customer comes to us she's really looking for curation, right? She's not looking for 1,000 pages of black dresses. She's looking for the perfect black dress for her, maybe 3. And so if we understand what she's looking for today, she's occasion driven, she's shopping for casual weekend or a special occasion, then we can point her in that direction and get her to a part of the site. She's not so savvy around navigating herself, right? So this helps her get to those places and convert better.
And Anahita with Lively, what are you guys seeing?
Yes, I think it really starts with understanding channels of acquisition and kind of how are we attracting her to the site. And it really starts with the right media spend allocation and going after not quantity but quality, going after that quality customer, high intent customer, and having a true understanding of what those acquisition tactics are that we're really leveraging out there to ensure that once she lands on the site, there's an experience that really ties to that first touch point that she had with the brand. And we also found out that it is very important to, of course, know what is that path to purchase as she lands on the site, and having the right forms of captures available, whether it's the dual capture that obviously has been extremely efficient for us, whether it's captures at the footer across all the pages of our site, and really compelling, clear call to action, trying to be branded, but also very straightforward in the message, and leading with an incentive obviously has been also super effective for us.
I'm going to follow up with you on that one, because the next step of this is convenience, and we all know how important it is to make sure that the shopping experience is convenient and seamless for consumers. And so, what are some strategies or tools that you all have implemented to make this process easy for your consumers?
Absolutely. So we've been testing different approaches there, and again, it always comes down to let's be to the point, let's be very action-oriented in our messaging. Let's understand what she's looking for, and also let's try to preserve the brand at the same time. We don't want to set the tone for kind of a discount-first marketing approach, but we've tested, for example, in terms of opt-in messaging, like free shipping messages versus GWPs. And it really always comes down to that discount, whether it's $1 off, whether it's a percentage off. That tends to be more effective without having to go too crazy. We don't want to be discount erosive, but it's just a matter of a small discount that's going to kind of drive that opt-in action. And of course, making sure, as I said, that customer is qualified will be really dictating the subsequent value that we get.
And Liesl, with that, knowing that Boston Proper started as a catalog company 30 years ago, and how has the brand evolved to make it so that shopping is continuously convenient for your consumers?
Yeah, I think a couple of ways. One, we have still a group of customers who really love to call and talk to our people on the phone. And so really listening to those questions and comments, and then preemptively getting the data in front of the customer before she asks it, right? Somebody else asked it, it's going to be a common question about fabrication, about sizing, about where it's appropriate to wear something, what's appropriate to wear to an occasion, and taking the questions that we hear at the phones and bringing them back into the site experience, right? And I think the other piece is just trying to, it's very much what you said, right? Trying to reflect where she came from and landing her in a place so she doesn't feel like she came to a different place, right? Mm-hmm. She's coming from swim ad in November. It's resort, it's not everybody's swim time, right? But she's looking for that, making sure we're getting her into the part of the site that's going to serve that need, and she's going to feel like I didn't land on like woolly sweaters when I clicked on a swimsuit.
Right. She's ready for that winter vacation.
That's right.
Like a lot of us are going to get ready for very soon here.
A glam cruise.
Exactly. Oh, I've never heard that. That's great. A glam. I'm going to go on one of those. Okay, so the next thing, KJ, I'd love to talk to you about this, because Mented has been a great partner for us with Two-Way, and especially with Concierge. Knowing that a lot of the brands, a lot of consumers are expecting things now to be more consumer-led as opposed to brand-led, and consumers are really leading brands and telling them how they want to be engaged with and how they want to talk to brands. And so one of the main things that we like to say at Attentive is that consumers don't want to be talked at anymore. And so, how have you started to engage with two-way conversations, separate of Concierge? I would love that. And then also with Concierge as well.
Yeah, so we started testing Concierge in October of last year, and it was very quickly evident that this was something we needed to blow out more widely. So I think we started maybe with just cart abandonment, and now we've got it running in every journey. And we've also turned on Concierge everywhere, right? So anytime she responds to any text, even if it's just a text about a mass text about a sale, she can get a response back. And that's been really great. And now two-way conversations, Concierge is making up, almost 15% of our revenue in that channel. So it's been really an unlock, I would say, for us. But I also say, not everything about it has worked. We've had to figure out what will and won't work. So like, for instance, I remember, this might seem silly to some of you, but I remember Attentive sort of gave us the name of our concierge person. I forget what the name of this person was, right?
Sally.
Call it Kelly. Whatever the name was, I didn't like it. But the reason I didn't like it was because I don't think she's gonna like it, right? Like, hey, it's Kelly. Does Kelly feel like minted? I don't know. Does it? Not to me. And so I said, we gotta change this name. So we changed the name, now it's Ava, and we actually did see better conversion when we did that. On the flip side, I also changed the order of conversation, whatever it was. I also didn't like that. I didn't think she would like it. I was wrong. Attentive's version was better. So we've had to figure out, it's not just like turn it on and go, it's turn it on and then figure out how to make it work for your brand. But either way, it really has been an unlock for us.
Yeah, it's great that you guys actually took that feedback also and tested it and made sure that you were giving what your consumers wanted. What either of you two, I know that I don't think either of you is in concierge yet, but other two-way, or you are?
Well, yeah. So we it's interesting what you were saying, because we've been testing SMS concierge quite a bit, and actually we had not necessarily unlocked kind of the right use case so far, but one use case we're extremely interested in testing with concierge is our feed guide page, because we know that sizing is a point of friction for our customers, and our core customer is between 25 to 35, different kind of sizing, and different styles run different ways in terms of, and so having that personalized approach on the feed guide page where we know that she can get confused can be, we think, really powerful for us, and really having that kind of one-to-one personalized approach in terms of recommendations, support, and really easing that path to purchase. So that's really the goal in the coming weeks, is to start testing specifically for the feed guide. And two-way conversation is also something we're extremely interested in layering in our strategy. A use case for that is our welcome flow. So we want to make sure that we categorize her right away from the get-go, understanding what led her here, what style is she interested in, what size is she, what category we offer, more categories than bras. And kind of how can we better then segment subsequent campaign efforts and maximize that conversion and overall experience.
At least love you guys. What have you tried with 2A at this point?
A lot of things just to try to drive engagement, again, to get her to respond to us. She's a funny character. She doesn't actually interact very much with social. She's a lurker. She's a lurker, but she's not an engager. But she does engage in SMS if we ask her questions there and pull first-party, zero-party data back. We also have, we just moved over to Shopify a month ago. So we're looking forward to having much more ability to interact with the data back and forth versus our old custom platform. But we have fit analytics on our site. So she is actually providing us very detailed size data and competitive size data. So what size is she at Talbot's? What size is she at J.Crew? That helps us recommend the right size, and bringing that data into the conversation to say we have, somebody was talking about back in stock earlier, and being able to say we actually have the size you're supposed to be, that you told us you were, back in stock, and something that you browsed that went out fast. So those are other ways to bring that and say, do you want to be notified if there's back in stock opportunity?
I love a back in stock text.
Yeah.
Makes me very happy when I get those. It's not making my checking account happy, but I like it. Okay, so on that, personalization is something else that is incredibly important with SMS, and I think a lot of you know that we ran a survey last year, and 30% of the surveys that 30% of the consumers that we surveyed said they're most likely to contact a brand with two instances. Sizing is one, and then also material or fit. And so knowing that there's a huge need to personalize this experience when a consumer is making a purchase decision, in this situation where they don't have a storefront to go to, or maybe if they do, they've been in one of your, in your store or tested your stuff at Target, and then they want to be able to go home and buy it on their own time. How are you guys using zero-party data or consumer data, as we were discussing backstage, to help the consumer with their purchase decisions? Go for it.
Sure. No, absolutely. So I think Lively has 5 stores, and we expanded into Target as well, actually, last year. But the online experience remains key, and so we've been talking about expanding on a virtual feed guide and really kind of easing the friction there. The SMS concierge, obviously a great way to also bring that personalization to the next level. And really simple, but having a full understanding again of that full customer journey and knowing what attracted her in the first place, from which channel she was essentially acquired, she came from, to provide that one-to-one personalized experience on site. We've found out that curated landing page, for example, that really tie to a specific campaign or marketing tactic or an offer are extremely impactful in terms of maximizing that conversion rates. Obviously, we also want to ensure that our content cross channels is fully personalized and dynamic. A big undertaking around that has been email personalization over the last year, wanting to make sure that we kind of like curate our email content based on site activity, again, at an individual customer level. And so definitely a lot more efforts are made in terms of moving forward, but we definitely have seen a lot of improvement in terms of our LTVs from personalization efforts over the last year.
KJ, how do you, because we were joking backstage about zero party, first party, isn't it just all consumer data? Like, how do you actually clarify it? So how does Mented use really focus on personalization with data?
Yeah, well, for us, it kind of gets back to complexion. So I think most businesses probably have something in your arsenal, some product in your catalog, or some service that if you can figure out that one thing for your customer, it unlocks so much knowledge about them, right? Like if I know your foundation shade, now I can tell you what you should be wearing, on your powder. I can tell you what you should be wearing on your cheek. I can tell you what's going to look good on your lip. There's so much I know if I know that one thing.
Yep.
And so we spend a lot of time trying to find out that one thing. Like we were attacking her from every angle, trying to get her to the complexion page, trying to get her to the shade match quiz, trying to get her to chat with our reps, trying to get her to, text, all around the conversation of complexion. And so that's what it is for my business. But I think every business has something like that. That's sort of the unlock. And so once we've got it, then we can give you truly a personalized experience. What we're trying to figure out now is we know when we do, like I mentioned earlier, a complexion consult, that's 20 minutes of one person's time, right? But our AOV doubles, right? So my AOV is usually around 50. When someone does a consult, it's between 90 and 100. So, how do I now do that, but not dedicate 20 minutes of one person's time because like I'm trying to figure out how to make that, how to scale that. So I think text is going to play a real answer there, particularly if we're able to have people texting images of themselves, which I don't think they can do yet.
I think we can do that.
I haven't.
Let's hear from the product team.
Right. I don't know.
We take a note and make
Who do I
sure
need
we
to
can
talk
get
to?
that.
But yes, if we can do that, then I can start to scale this, and it becomes really exciting. So that is currently our focus.
Yeah, and Lisa, how do you, when it comes to like customer data, zero party data, how do you guys use that?
I think the unlock is, it's like KJ said, everybody has their unlock. Ours is really fit.
Okay.
And the specialty fit that is required or helpful for a woman who's different shape than she was when she was 25. And then also understanding from her, which we have it from purchase data, but we don't necessarily have it up front, right? What shapes fit, where's she comfortable? Is she in a sheath dress? Does she like her arms to show? Does she like short dresses or long dresses? Like what are the places where we can sort of tailor what she's seeing to give her a really good chance of feeling great in something that we sell her. So again, size and then this spec around shape and preferences, I think is a big unlock for us.
Great. Well, we've talked about convenience, we've talked about personalization, now like loyalty and retention. That's where the meat of this is. And so we'll definitely want to spend some time digging into this. Yeah, sorry, I can't read that far, so we're going this way because I'm definitely in the older crowd now that needs to read this way. But marketers are always facing the debate of how much to invest in acquisition versus retention. And we were actually having a really interesting conversation backstage talking about how during COVID, each one of these brands, and I'm sure a lot of yours out there, really increased, acquisition was incredibly important, and you acquired quite a few more consumers than previous, and now how do you keep them? Like how do you maintain that retention? And so, when you look at the two sides of the coin, how do you balance your budgets between acquisition and retention, maybe even previously and then now? So who wants to jump in on this one? You wanna take a stab, KJ?
Yeah, sure. What we were talking about backstage was how many of us have had to shift our thinking. Certainly I can speak for Minted and say, for our 5 years in business, we'll be 6 in January, we've just been focused on growth. Growth. Almost growth at any cost. Well, now the market is shit and getting outside capital is harder. And so now I've got to generate my own cash, right? So now the story is not growth. It's profit. So how do I get to profit faster? Retention, right? I got to get the people that I've got to shop more. So now we've, really shifted our focus. It's very weird when you're used to seeing a line go like this and all of a sudden, but it's necessary and our business is much healthier now. So in answer to your question around how, I think part of it is doubling down on channels like SMS and email, because those really are your most effective retention channels and your highest ROAS channels. And so that's really been the focus for us. And then from an acquisition standpoint, shifting to much more to things like affiliate.
Yeah.
That's been really big and has really exploded for us. And again, is super high ROAS because it's much cheaper for you to tell your homegirl about Minted than it is for me to acquire you on Facebook, right? So that's what we've been focusing on, mostly because we've sort of had to.
Yeah. You had some yeses over.
Yeah,
you were agreeing.
Yeah, exactly. Very similar to KJ actually. So we obviously a very similar stage of growth. Lively has been around for 6 years, and so we're seeing the impact of the current economic context at the moment, but also following the iOS 14 changes from last year, it has made our acquisition efforts much more challenging. Not understanding truly who that customer is, being able to go after the same kind of qualified customers, not fully understanding Facebook performance. That has obviously inhibited our retargeting efforts. And so we had to essentially look at the full funnel and say, okay, where are we going to invest and what makes sense long term? And so what we ended up doing is, we kind of started focusing on the top of the funnel, so purely awareness, and then a bit towards the bottom of the funnel, so to try to capture higher intent customers. So search has been a big focus, for example, and then obviously retargeting tools and tactics. And so expanding on CRM has been huge. We've tripled down on SMS over the last year. But really developing the right journeys, the right flows to make sure that we would be able to kind of retarget that customer at different stages of the funnel. And personalization also kind of like translating into that has been really key for us. So we really rethought the full marketing funnel in a way. And we've shifted from kind of an acquisition first model into kind of a retention first approach, if that makes sense.
And we're 30 years old. We're not in the same kind of thing, but we've had our peaks and valleys of growth over the years. In 21, we had a tremendous success with actually reactivation. So we had customers that had been gone for 2, 3, 4, 5 years that were able to come back to us, partly because of work we did in assortment, partly because of pent-up COVID demand, partly because of, but leveraging all of that. Now we're in a situation where our marketing costs, and because a big piece of my marketing budget is paper, because it's catalog, I've had a 50, 60% increase in marketing costs this year, straight up. So that's a whole different problem when you're trying to figure out, well, I was reactivating customers through catalog and through prospecting. How now do I have to do that and double performance? And it isn't the same as what you can do in digital in terms of segmentation. It's not. It's like a long lead time and a lot of cost up front. So really being focused on not just retention for us, because our retention is actually pretty good, but now it's an increase in frequency. And so understanding from that customer, what is it that's going to get you one more purchase this year? What categories are you not considering us for that we have that you may not know about? And really strategically going after not just one purchase, but a cross-category purchase. So I've got her in multiple departments, and then if her life is changing, then I can manage that, right? If social occasion backs off, as it did in 21, we shifted into weekend casual. Now we're shifting away from weekend casual back into social, but she's got to know that we're in all those places for her. And even if she only thought of us as social, we want to be able to sell her other things. Swim has been a big entree for us as well. So.
That's great. Yeah, I think too. As part of the loyalty programs we were talking about, Mented's loyalty program specifically, and it was interesting. Also part of this survey that hopefully all of you have read. We'll do another one next year, I'm sure. But of the customers surveyed, 85.9% of them confirmed being opted into at least one VIP loyalty program. And so, loyalty programs, as you know, I'm a member of many of them myself. I'm sure many of you are too. You just appreciate the experience, and also, and you guys have looked at yours, and as you said, are revamping it.
We are revamping it and relaunching it Q1, mostly because we surveyed our customers, and our most loyal customers, so our mavens, that's what we call our top tiers, minted mavens. It's super cute. And what we learned was, even though these are our most loyal, right? These are the women spending $1,000 a year, which is not easy to do at Minted. You know, like my lipstick's $18. So that's a big feat. They were in the program, in the top tier of the program, and saying, like, I don't really get the program, right? They're the top tier of the program, and I don't get it. I don't really know what it's about. I don't use my points. I don't, it feels like, they were just meh about the whole thing. And like, that is a kick in the gut when your most loyal customer doesn't understand your loyalty program. Like, that is a kick in the gut. So yeah, we are revamping it. And what we heard in surveying them and just customer surveys more broadly was what she likes about the loyalty program, the things that she does get, are the perks that feel like super exclusive. So, we're so focused on, you get your points, and your points get you dollars off. She's like, yeah. What I like is when you guys give me early access to the launch, because you guys are always selling out, right? I like when you guys do like the meet and greet, or like, I've done a few focus groups with some of our mavens. Like, I like when I got to chat with the CEO. Yeah. That was nice. Like they want experiences. They want things that feel exclusive. And meanwhile, we're just like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, we're concentrating on the wrong thing. So we're blowing it up and doing it over, but it's because we've listened to her. And so that's, I think something I've heard throughout the conference is the importance of listening to your customer.
Goes back to what we talked about at the beginning too, about consumer-led versus brand-led, and how that, like, consumers are really having an impact on the decisions that brands are making. And either one of you, you got excited.
Yeah,
I love it.
I feel like we have the same business right now. But so we have a loyalty program that we're actually focusing on expanding. And what is super interesting is those cohort of customers, they still represent a small portion of our database, but they drive close to 80% of the revenue on product launches, early accesses. And so we see a lot of value there. They tend to have much higher LTVs, purchasing frequency, as the rest of our customers. And so we listen to those members very closely, try to understand, okay, where are they engaging within the program? Like, looking at the behavior at a tier level, looking at ways to earn, and to your point, not all the ways to earn are actually compelling and engaging. And so what can we actually bring that feels exclusive, makes a difference, is competitive also with the rest of the industry? And it's all about, to your point, surprise and delight and experiences. What's very interesting is as a result of that, we also, going back a bit to the personalization point, we are very community driven as a brand, and we were actually created through our community, and our community at the time had been influencing our marketing campaigns, our product launches, for example. And so we continue that approach of continuously sending out surveys and polls to understand, okay, what is she looking for at this point in time? Is she interested in this specific product? Is a color that's top of mind for her? Is there a style? And so the reward program membership base has been such a valuable pool of customers to listen to because they are so engaged with the brand. And so we started shifting really the mindset around listening to them first and then adapting kind of what's around. But there's a lot to be done. And so we're thinking actually rebranding the program for the insights that we got. It is very complex. There's a lot of layers. And so how do you simplify it and make it really valuable as much as we can? So that has been a focus for us as well.
Anything you would like to add
And
to loyalty?
we're not running loyalty. I mean, I think it's interesting because we are a fully direct-to-consumer business where we have 100% of their data. We have everything that they tell us about surveys tied to them. And we do incentives against behavior, right? So I haven't seen you for a while. I'm looking to introduce you to a different category. I'm looking for, are you discount sensitive? Are you not? And really trying to play into those places. We use free shipping in that way, right? Sort of applying it where it needs to go. But we actually, a large percentage of our customers pay for shipping still.
Wow.
Yeah, magic. So, it's just it's just a very sensitive thing. Our customers not want to have to count anything, file anything. She doesn't use promo codes about 50% of the time when she's eligible for them. She won't put them in. So it's a very different thing. And I think for her to be able to, call and get somebody on the phone who can answer a question about what kind of button is on this thing or how much stretch is really in this fabric is probably way more important than, this kind of gamification. Again, for her, she's just like, I'm ready to shop, but I need you to explain some stuff to me and I need some counsel.
Yeah. How do you, and this is kind of a follow-up question on that, through SMS, like how do you create that VIP experience for those customers, or knowing that your consumer's a little different, like what's the Boston Proper do to make that a special experience on SMS?
Yeah, it's funny. Our SMS and our email programs really work hand in hand. I was loving the integration that you guys are doing. Our customer shops off of email like nothing I've seen, right? It's almost as if it were pages of a catalog to her, where she will go exactly to the outfit and buy it end to end, right? So we miss that in SMS, right? I almost want to say, here's the SMS, go see this email, because now I got the visuals. So we're trying to build landing pages that feel email-liked in her mind to see the outfits, but that has the quickness and the ease of SMS. I also think click to buy in SMS is going to be a blow-up thing for us. So, yeah.
Yeah. Either of you two, some VIP experiences that your brands have created via SMS for consumers?
Yeah, I mean, the early access launch text is always our biggest revenue producer. Always, always by far, right? She gets the text saying like, Mavens, we're launching eyeshadow sticks. It's coming to you first. Like, she's like, oh,
she's like, I'm there.
we get these eyeshadow sticks. And I love that. So now we're trying to figure out, like, so how do we expand on that? Maybe she wants a master class. Maybe she wants, content. Maybe she wants to see tutorials that no one else has access to. Whatever it is, but something that feels immediate so that when she gets the text, she can do it right then and right there and know that she's one of a small group of people who gets to do it. So we're working on expanding that list. Right now, it's mostly the early access to the launch and the early access to a sale.
Exactly, the same. No, definitely we've seen a lot of success with, it's all about the branding actually. It's not so much, how do we position a specific incentive or offer. Early access to product launches has been a great driver for us, but we're also trying to be careful with the level of kind of incentives that we're putting out there. Although it is a promotional channel in essence, what we've seen is the value of the customers that we're acquiring through SMS is 20 times higher sometimes than what we're acquiring through email. And so we don't want to set the wrong sort of tone, and we want to actually tackle this more as an experiential channel, which I think is really the next step. We're still quite promotional, because this is really where we see the value. We don't want to hook the customer onto those promotions indefinitely, but how do we layer in more experiences, early access being one of them, or maybe it's a personalized consultation in the store, or an event, or inviting our community to be part of the decision-making process around a certain launch, for example. So that's what we think is really the future with this channel.
Yeah, it kind of leads to the next question of like, what are you most excited for in the coming year or so for communication strategies and things that I know you touched a little bit on live SMS, and you want to go a little deeper on that, or what else?
Well, I'm excited to get into you guys' private beta for what is it? Live cart? Like you can like you
The
can
live SMS
check
or
out
text to buy.
in your yes.
Yeah,
Y'all have
text to
names
buy.
for everything.
Yes.
That I wanted to get in it,
Yeah.
and I was too late, and now I'm on the wait list.
Oh, I
so if
think
you can put in a
you might know
word
some
with
people.
Brian and
might be
somebody
able to like
else,
sneak you on in there.
that's what I want. That's my like top of mind for me.
Text to buy. Okay. Liesl, what do you?
I think definitely text to buy, and then sort of the interplay of concierge as we get our legs underneath us on Shopify and get the integration. I've just implemented Gorgeous as well. So being able to play with those things back and forth and give the customer the support in a new way versus her having to actually call, because we know there are people who will never call us, but we really drive a lot of outfit consultation and stuff on the phone if we can get her there now, to find a way to get her outside of the phone, so she can kind of understand the features of the website and what we have to offer outfitting wise is a big opportunity.
When we get you on concierge, you'll have to figure out the name. Like, no, I've never heard anyone change the name. I think that's so great. I do know how much
like the
people
first
are
thing I
loyal to
did.
those names. That's why I think it's so great. It's
Yeah.
brilliant, actually. What are you looking forward to most with Lively?
Definitely all of this. So SMS concierge, as mentioned, I think we have a great use case for it. Really confident it can help reduce return rates relating to size, actually. So this is a really important focus for us. Two-way conversation, easing kind of that welcome journey, optimizing that first purchase. And then I'm actually interested in testing, and I know you guys had this for a while, the triggered email journeys, just to understand what that incrementality can be versus kind of the tools we use at the moment. So that's maybe something that we'll be looking at in the coming month.
Great. Well, since we're the last panel of the day and we have a few minutes left, I'd love for each of you to just take away step back from this panel, and what have been your takeaways? What have been the things that over the past day and a half you've been surprised to learn, excited to learn, conversations you've had, just something that you'll leave here with, and hopefully we'll do this again next year and you'll come back and have an even better experience.
Well, my favorite experience, honestly, was the green room, just chatting with these two ladies. Because I will say this, and I feel this all the time, whenever I can get with other founders or heads of marketing or just people thinking sort of, at the level I'm thinking about their company and really chit chat, like beyond the presentations, hopefully this one has been helpful, but beyond that, it's really the one-on-one conversations for me that always end up being impactful. That's where I end up like getting a nugget or just feeling reassured. Oh, acquisition is not the game for you.
Yeah.
God, thank God, thank God it's not just me, like someone else is also focused on profitability, like that's what I need. That gives me energy. Also, the presentations have been great, but that was my favorite.
I think just the expanding and integration of data into all these places, right? That, we've operated very, effectively in our silos, on our data silos. For us, catalog is a whole different data structure, right? We care about address. SMS doesn't care about address, physical address, where you live, right? So being able to pull these things together where they've lived really separately, they join it at the customer level, but they don't really join at the communication level. So I have a customer who travels all the time, right? So it's useless to me to mail her a catalog if she's in Florida for the winter. Not helpful to mail her in Wisconsin. So, understanding that from the text, like where is she, right? And what does she care about right this minute? Where is the weather where she is really helpful way to join all the things together. And I think that's the opportunity for sweet spot for the next level of retention, the next level of frequency, because it's opening up a window into her behavior that we just don't have otherwise. So.
Yeah. And What's been your? I mean,
no.
you got your team here too. Like,
Yeah.
I love that lively hype
It's my
squad.
I can see anything from here. No, I think, I mean, just honestly hearing about the power of SMS it sounds basic, but it's actually amazing. I mean, the level of personalization that we're able to create now, the SMS concierge, the two-way conversation. I remember a time where we were scared about investing behind SMS. We were scared to shift the attribution from email into SMS. And now we're seeing that the revenue per customer is 20 times what it is on SMS than for email. And so really being consumer first and kind of going with that, and that's where she's interacting, that's where she's at, and let's embrace that. And there's a way we can achieve a great profitability with that too. I mean, and that was also the concern, are we going to be profitable with this channel, because there's a cost involved, and obviously email is not. So that's exciting to hear from everyone here, especially in this current context of acquisition being challenging and having to really pivot marketing strategies to think really long term and to think retention first. So that's
Great. Well, I appreciate you three taking the time out and coming here and sharing your incredible insights with the team, with the audience here. And I do hear there's lots of people chatting in the background, so I know that we were like 4 minutes away, maybe 10 minutes away from cocktails. But I will bring Garrett back out because he does have an amazing surprise for everybody here. So thank you again for coming. We really, really appreciate it.